Hello, everyone. This is Mike from Dimensional Walking. And today I want to talk about an underground alien base off of Malibu and UFO drones near the Channel Islands. This has been an area from San Diego up to Santa Barbara off the coast. And there's several different islands there. And they're very popular. There's a lot of boating and there's a lot of people on these islands. There's a couple state national forests there. National parks there. So there is a lot of activity. There's a lot of people around. There's a lot of eyes. There's a lot of cameras, etc. In this case, I'm gonna talk about kind of divide this video up into two kind of parts. One is what the military and what other scientists and other people have seen in this area over the years. And then I'm going to talk about some conversation I had with a couple of friends of mine that also lived in the area going back a few years, and they very well still may live there. So anyways, let's first talk about the Navy. In 2019, they had a couple of their warships out there in the area of the Channel Islands, which is probably about 50 miles or so, probably directly west of Malibu. And there's a national park there. It looks like a very beautiful island. I've never been there, but what I saw in some pictures was really quite a place to go to and visit. But anyways, right off the shore there were some warships. There was a couple of warships in 2019 that were out there doing maneuvers or something. I'm not really sure what it was. And suddenly there was a bunch of, it looked like drones. And this, I think it started out at night, but my understanding is they actually did see some of these kind of strange looking drones out there flying around and seemed to be following and tracking the ships. And they were doing all kinds of very strange maneuvers, flying in and out, etc. And there was some real concern. It seems like they could go and do what they wanted to. They didn't seem to be afraid that they were going to be seen. They were there. And like I say, I think my understanding was they had a couple of daylight sightings also, a lot of nighttime sightings of them flying around. And they sent jets up there. The jets just couldn't stay up with them, or suddenly they would disappear. They show back up, they show back, disappear on radar, they show back up. So there was some amazing concern that this was either two things. This was either the Russians or the Chinese possibly had some capability like this, but after a long investigation, said no way this could possibly be. And of course, the other option was something not of this world. And when it was all said and done, that's what the conclusion was. It was unresolved. It was definitely unresolved. They definitely were eliminated, the Chinese and the Russians. So that kind of left you with just the other option. So anyway, so this went on for, I think it was about 6 months or so. And of course, the Navy, they went ahead and did some major investigation. Again, the conclusion was unresolved. It still is unresolved to this day, as far as I'm concerned. But they did eliminate that it was any other earthly foreign players. That they could. Because, as you probably know, all the countries, the West and Russia and China, we all know kind of what type of weapons we have and what type of vehicles and planes and ships. We all know what we have, right? They're developing new things, but pretty soon, within a short development time, we also know what they have. And they sometimes, the Russians have superior weapons, and Chinese do. We do. Most of the time, we do. So anyways, that was eliminated. So this area has been plagued with UFO type sightings over many years. The first one I believe was in, that I'm aware of, was in 1953. And this one in 1953 basically was by a gentleman named Clarence Kelly Johnson. Clarence Kelly Johnson was quite famous. He was he was the head of Skunk Works, Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, and he was also responsible for the development of U-2, the U-2, and the SR-71, the stealth bomber, which I actually had an opportunity to see it up close. It's incredible. It's beyond anything I want to see that I've ever seen. And it's quite small though. That was the impression I got. It was very small when I got up there. I was expecting it to be much bigger than that, but it was incredible. Anyways, so he was out doing some testing over in Santa Cruz Island, which is close to the Channel Islands, in 1953, and he had an amazing encounter with a bunch of UFOs there too. Similar, they were small, and they were doing erratic things. And if anybody on Earth would identify them as UFOs or whatever, and he was a believer, he was definitely a believer in UFOs before he had this experience, and then he was definitely a believer. He didn't know what they were. He said there were no technology that he was aware of, and he knew all the technologies that existed at that time. 1953. And he actually knew, obviously, the U-2 and the SR-71 were just like most everybody. There's no public person that knew of them. Only the top echelon of the military knew that the existence of those things. And Kelly obviously did. He helped design them. So he would be a great judge if UFOs existed. And if he happened to see one, he would know it was a UFO and it was not of this world. So anyways, he made that statement that what he saw was not of this world, okay? And also, unbeknownst to him, there was another group of engineers from Lockheed doing some other research not far from where he was at that time. And they also, not only did that, they also took video of it. Now in 1953, the video quality wasn't that great, but it seemed really weird because the videos they got actually were of a UFO, and they're not for the public to see. But he told them he saw the videos. He said it was of a UFO, just like the UFO wanted them to see them, because it started moving very slowly so that those old video cameras could keep up with it. So it was pretty incredible. Well, anyways, the Air Force came along and, talked to them and talked to Kelly and talked to the engineers at Lockheed and basically blew them off, just said, oh, that was a cloud you saw, or something like that. It was ridiculous. And, of course, Kelly was just beside himself, but, he said it was very typical that the Air Force would deny the existence of the UFOs. So anyways, this whole area, again, has always been a hotbed of UFOs, sightings up and down the coast off of LA from like Santa Barbara to San Diego, that whole area. And those were some of the ones I just told you were some of the most profound. Also, let me mention this. There were also a sighting that when they sent the jets up there was a sighting of very similar to the famous ones, I believe were on the East Coast later on. This sighting was actually in 2004. There were air traffic controllers on a Navy guided missile cruiser. And my understanding is they saw these on radar, and then there was some jets that they sent up, to check them out, and they looked like the TikTok ones that you've seen. Probably everybody has seen videos on. They also had this similar sighting here. Now, I believe the TikTok ones, and don't hold me to this, I think the videos actually were from the East Coast. This is similar videos from the West Coast. But don't hold me to that. I haven't researched that particular one, but I thought it was an East Coast thing. So there was actually 2 TikTok sightings of the ones that look like TikTok. So with that said, there's obviously been a lot of sightings by the military and Lockheed Martin engineers and folks, and Kelly, this genius man that developed U-2 and the surveillance plane, the famous one, and then the SR-71s, the supersonic stealth bomber. So anyways, that's that. But I also had some interesting confirmation. Now I've been to Malibu and along there and hung out at the beach, hoping to see something, etc. Well, I've never seen anything. I tell you that, but I did a lot of work out on the West Coast, and I actually did some work for some aerospace companies out there. So I have a pretty good knowledge of the world of aerospace. I've met some really interesting folks. Unfortunately, I can't tell you much of those conversations or those meetings because they were all classified. But I did make some friends at the company I was working at. And 2 of them were very interesting. They spent a lot of time at Malibu Beach. I think they did surfing, but they were really sharp guys, but they really loved to be on the beach. And sometimes they would stay overnight, etc., on the beach and do some, stargazing and UFO gazing, because it's pretty popular to go to those beaches, especially around Malibu. There's been rumors for years that there's this underground base off the coast. Now, what's interesting about that, if you take Malibu and look at a map and you go straight across about 50 miles, at the end of that line is the Channel Islands. So we're in this area, okay? And this is what these 2 guys told me. He said, over the years, we would be on the beach, we'd be watching at night, maybe we'd stay overnight on the beach. Sometimes we have a fire. As years went on, they didn't allow them to have fires anymore, and they chased them off the beach. But he said that they had a lot of time, this one guy did, on the beach, and they saw some amazing UFOs. They said they would see these UFOs and kind of said they were small, just very similar to the ones that were spotted in years before, that would go very fast and suddenly change directions, maybe a couple feet above the water. And they even said they seen them go into the water. They seen them come out of the water. One time they saw a huge ship come out of the water and just disappear. He said they came out and it just like blinked out. They couldn't believe it. He said all the things that they saw, they typically saw from the shore. And they could estimate it was like a mile to 5 miles out from Malibu. Now, he said that we occasionally would see some other things closer in, but he said he wasn't always sure if those were the UFOs or not. But a lot of the ones he saw were just incredible, he said. And they saw this for years and years. So anyways, that was that story. I lost contact with those guys. I'm sorry I did, because they really had some amazing sightings. And it would be great to talk to them again, but who knows? Maybe they just got too close to the underwater base or something. They were pretty crazy and wild guys. Anyways, I miss them. I guess with all that said, that's it. So if you're in that area, if you're off of Malibu or you're between Santa Barbara and San Diego, man, if I could have the opportunity to be there and be on that beach and looking out at night, I would be doing it, because apparently it's a UFO haven. There's a lot of UFO activity out there. or go to Channel Island or any of those islands that are out Santa Cruz Island. I think all of them have great opportunity. And I truly believe there is an underground base somewhere out in the ocean outside of Malibu, off the coast, probably a mile, maybe a farther, maybe a couple miles off. But I really believe it from other stories I've heard and from my friends and just some of the official UFO sightings that have come forward over the last few years. Pretty incredible area there. Anyways, that's it. So, hey, if you want to send some information to us directly, you can comment here. You can like us. Please subscribe. If you want to send some other stories or something, you can send them to dimensionalwalking@gmail.com. And that's it. Thanks a lot. Till we meet again. Bye-bye.